Who's he? It's me. Fun fact. It's me, Future Drake, editing this right now. Anyway. Hold on. I'm sorry. I just got home from work. I took a shower because I was disgusting. So give me a minute to gather my collective thoughts here. I said that. Do not disturb. You ping me my Discord, by the way, while I'm streaming. I will find you. Hello, Ben. Hello, Reed died. Interesting name. All right. Anyways. All right. What was it at? I think it was at 52, right? Wait. All right. Today, me, myself, and I are going to be doing something amazing. Something tranquil. I can't do that shit. I'm sorry. I can't do it to that. Get the good music in here. Let's go! Anyway, that's really loud. Sorry about that. So, today I'm going to be streaming. Oh, wow. I'm off my game right now, man. There's a lot going on. I'm going to be streaming some Ninjago timeline because I think the Ninjago timeline it's probably a bit messy. There's time travel. There's a lot of different dimensions. There's a lot of characters. I'm certainly it's going to be all over the place, just like how Ben 10's was. Ben 10 was? Yeah. So let's see what we get into with that. And also today I will be not stealing. I will be using DuckBricks video, which is in the description below. Go check out all of his other stuff. He makes a lot of cool Lego, Ninjago, anything actually revolving around Legos, that kind of thing. Makes a ton of cool stuff. Go check him out. The link to the original video and his channel is in the description. I didn't ask him for permission, so I might be fucked, but if you're watching this, please don't sue me. I beg you. I'm just gonna start playing it, and yeah.
Hey there! Thanks for tuning in.
I will watch the intro.
I'm Chris, and welcome
because
to
I
a
want
brand new series.
Oh yeah, I want to point something out here. So I did watch the first 2 minutes of this, just to make sure it's half decent or whatever, because I wanted something that was high quality. And the whole time during my pre-watch on the intro, I was first of all looking at this fucking background. Look at this background. Look at that. What is that's Adam Savage's workshop made out of Lego. That is what that is. That is like hold on. Let me pull up a picture of Adam Savage's workshop for those who don't know anything about that. Cuz it's a excuse me. It's a masterpiece. Adam Savage. Oh. Images. Where's a good one that really displays it all? Yeah, that's a good one. Look at that. Look at this. There's some like dead mouse thing. There's a bunch of like Indiana hat, or I'm guessing Indiana hats. There's a C-3PO. There's the space suits. I think another C-3PO. I don't know what this thing is. I think that's an Iron Man helmet or something. And this is just the beginning. He has stuff from the Matrix. He has a full-on Mark I Iron Man suit made out of polyester or something super lightweight. Anyways, like compare that to, compare that to that. It's like, it's pretty similar, So I just wanted to point that out because that is insane. That's a lot of Legos, man.
Ninjago Retold, where I tell the complete story of LEGO Ninjago in chronological order.
Chronological
all
order.
the way back before the pilots, all the way up to crystallized.
So, chronological order, I'm guessing that means that it will involve the time travel elements, so this will probably get confusing. Like with Ben 10. Ow, fuck. Hit my mic. But yeah, anyways, back to my original point of what I was paying attention to the whole time during the pre-watch. There's a lot of feathering. This is completely unrelated. There's a lot of feathering on, like, around his body. So I was like, is this a green screen? Right? Because it kind of looks like a green screen, right? Because he's not in focus. It's focused on this instead of him for some reason. I don't know why he set it to that, or if it's on autofocus. And that could make sense, but yeah, it's like it looks like there's a lot of feathering around him when he moves. Like,
This
if
is
you know what feathering is, look at
every
it.
major event in the LEGO Ninjago TV show, book, comic, or any canon media history, and there is a ton to get into.
So it's like really interesting because I know it's not, or I know he actually has all of this, like, wherever he is, because he has a lot of videos showing off a lot of this stuff. But it's like, I want to know if he did green screen himself into this. Anyways,
now, before we get started, I do want to make a note. If you're not really sure what to expect, we previously launched a video series, Bionicle Retold, of which this will be basically the same thing, but for Ninjago. If you're curious about that or just want to see what the format will be like, do check out the link in the description below. After combining all of our Bionicle Retold episodes released around this time last year, the total was over 9 hours, and already is one of the most popular videos on our channel, which is really exciting. And the Ninjago video
9 hours? I was only planning on streaming for like an hour, maybe 2. I've been up for 30 hours. I haven't eaten except for a little tiny pizza. I don't, you know. Oh, hold on. Let me call in some backup. Hold on. Mark, please, for the love of God, help me. This is a stupid bit.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. So.
Oh God, are you calling again live?
No. What do you mean? No, I would never do such a thing to you again.
Do I need to throw hands with someone the color cyan again?
No, this is completely different.
Okay.
So I'm streaming, right? And
I knew.
I
Start charging you royalties for this.
I'm doing a reaction video. Do you know what Ninjago is?
Yes.
So I'm doing a reaction to the timeline, right? And this guy said that he did something similar with Bionicle, another show, and it ended up being like 9 hours long. And if you don't know, Ninjago has like 15 seasons. So I'm worried because I was only hoping to do this for like an hour or something. So I was hoping if I was wondering, would you like to sub in on this one? Play Imposter Drake today.
Me to sub in for you to be a reactor. Go do something else in the corner.
While I go eat and sleep? Yes.
How long?
Oh, hold on. Let me check that actually. Let me check that. Because I'm not gonna lie.
Probably have to sit down with you.
I didn't.
Instead. I was gonna have to throw it to somebody else when you called me up last. Now I guess I'm gonna have to throw.
Oh God. For about.
I swear to God, if you say more than 2 hours, I'll hurt you.
It's like maybe 8, 9, 10 hours.
Joking. You're joking.
There's 21 videos in this playlist apparently, and some of them are an hour, some of them are half an hour, some of them are 40 minutes.
to come back, right?
Well, you see,
You're
you
gonna
you
come
you got
back,
you,
though,
you got
right?
you got this. You got this. You got this, bro. You got this. This is where you hang up to end the bit, so I can continue.
It's not a bit. Knowing you, you're actually gonna sit there, and figure out somebody else villain, which you know I want, which is why you're calling.
Look, man. If I had anyone else to call, I already tried Nag. All right, he didn't. He didn't. He said no. Um. So, please.
Hey, someone.
What you see, the Drake Lytle Variety Channel funds are a little low this month.
Oh,
Because
okay,
some
I see,
people
I
aren't
see.
subscribing to the channel. Make sure to subscribe.
I see. Your sugar daddy didn't show up.
All right. Thank you for the content.
Yes.
All right.
Do it again, and you listen. You take my time, I will take your life. Okay.
I mean,
All right. Bye bye.
love you. Oh, they love you back.
Video may even surpass that because Ninjago has been going on for now 11 years and counting. This has been an incredible ride, and I cannot wait to show you what we've been working on. I published a sneak preview a couple of days ago, actually a couple weeks ago now, of the teaser, the intro for Ninjago Retold, which quickly skyrocketed to be one of the most viewed videos on the channel. So thank you so much for your support with that. You can check out
congrats,
the teaser
man.
below,
That's
although
fucking
you're
awesome.
about to see it in a couple seconds, so you can just wait and see it then. I spent a lot of time hand animating the teaser and making it feel like a real intro to a TV show. So I do hope you enjoy.
Which
and I can't wait to get started.
Which I did see, and I'm gonna nerd out about this. This is so cool.
Now, just a few quick things before we get started. I mostly will just be covering the main TV show itself and most of the backstories just mentioned in the TV show. However, there have been a couple of supplemental material published that the canonicity of them is under debate. Some of them are considered to be canon, some of them have been explicitly stated to be canon, but actually do contradict the timeline quite a bit, and some have been stated to be non-canon, however, aspects of them fall into canon perfectly fine. So I've done my best to reconcile all of these different sources and try to provide the most complete look at Ninjago's timeline, drawing forward the things that make the most sense from the non-canon materials into the main storyline, and I will be explaining what is and isn't canon when I cover those, and also trying to rearrange at least just the order in which I tell certain events to make it fit within the timeline better, which will be explained at the end of the video. One last thing I want to mention before we get started is that, again, because this is in chronological timeline order, there will be major spoilers for some of the biggest reveals in Ninjago's history.
So, I won't lie, I'm not 100% caught up. But it's fine.
Again, there's
also,
been
thank you, AK-47. Love you too, man.
Things happened in the far past of Ninjago, coming back to the future to bite them, and honestly, I'm just going to be summarizing all of those all at once because, again, we are going in chronological order. So if you do want to experience the story of Ninjago the way it was meant to be told...
Also, I just gotta say really quick, I really like how he's... Sorry, I'm leaning back. I need to relax, dude. I love just how he's like enunciating and like presenting himself. Very good. It definitely seems like he took a public speaking class. If he didn't, then even better. But it definitely seems like he's just like doing like the standard like right now he's holding that pose, that standard public speaking pose of like. So you see, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going over Ninjago's history. Now, when you know what Ninjago is, yes, it's like that kind of thing, right? That's usually what public speakers do, or at least that's what I think they do. I took a public speaking class, but I didn't pay attention because I already know how to publicly speak.
I do recommend you go onto Netflix or your local streaming provider
he's really
and
good
just find
on
out
camera,
where to
though,
watch
and that's really cool.
Ninjago's TV show itself,
because not a lot of people
because that
are.
is the best way to actually experience the story firsthand. But if you're just looking for a slightly more condensed version of events, then you're in the right place, and let's jump up, kick back, whip around, and spin, and get started with Ninjago Retold.
Wait. Jump up, kick back, whip around. Wait, hold on. It's jump up, kick back, run. Wait, how do they make a tornado with their body? Because it's wider at the top. They have to use their arms. Right? Huh. Oh, kick back. Like, oh, I don't know. Anyways. No wonder it's so hard to learn. Holy fuck. I'm about to fall over trying that. Whoops. Alright, here we go.
You're a long way from finding a ninja in these parts, old man.
Fame blades.
He's the green ninja.
Oh, yeah.
Master.
Support me, friends, for one
Oh, the
last
Overlord's
time.
comment.
New Serpentine Wars.
The thing, I can't remember what it's
Master
called.
has arrived.
Guess it's true.
Yeah.
These love stories do always end in tragedy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm departed.
Control time.
Control everything. You watched one video on this timeline, it had everything explained, but it might not be this detailed.
But I can resist you.
That season had 4 episodes in it.
Always come. All we can do is fight to make them good ones.
And this is where I don't know anything about it. After this, absolutely zero. And even up to this point, it's still a little iffy on like the last 2 like previews or whatever.
Protect those who cannot protect themselves.
What was that? Wait, why do I know that line? Protect those who cannot. That's for Zane. Obviously. I don't know.
You were programmed by the game to lose, but
The
you
game?
don't have to.
I want you to promise me that
What
you
game?
will always stand up to those who are cruel.
We are the keepers of the amulet.
Amulet? What is this, Hunter?
I am the sea.
Pixel? A crystal pixel? What the fuck is that thing? Wait, the golden weapons are back? But they got destroyed. Also, this is really, really cool. So I will say there's a little bit of flaws in this. Like you can see here, it's like it's like not cut out properly, or it's like 3D but it looks 2D because it's just not or it's 2D trying to look 3D when it's not. But anyways, just a little bit of flaws in this, but it's still way better than anything I would do. So, you know, fucking nice. What the fuck is that? What is half of? I don't. Whoa, be told. Whoa.
Prologue. Before Time Had a Name. Chapter 1. Rise of the 16 Realms. In the beginning, long before time had a...
Do I fuck with the movie design? You mean the redesign that they did in the movie? No, I like the original one better. The one for Lloyd is not bad. I just don't like I'm not a fan of the voice actor change, but I can deal with it. But the other 4 definitely should have stayed the same.
Name. There was nothing. Then, in an explosion of light and life in creation, the first realm was born.
The land of dragon and Onis, I believe. So so the first realm, so all realms weren't created. I imagine each realm is like a different timeline or a different universe. That's how I imagined it. But I guess they take up, maybe they're the same. I don't know.
Majestic world of canyons, cliffs, and oceans, this first realm was home to the mythical dragons, beings of pure creation that wielded the elements themselves, and the mysterious Oni, shape-shifting demons who controlled the power of darkness and destruction. As these powerful forces of creation and destruction evolved and spread throughout the first realm, more sister realms materialized from the power of creation itself.
Oh, okay.
In the midst of the ethereal divide that separates all parallel realms, more and more worlds came into being, each unique and consisting of their own life forms, society, culture, and terrain. The realm of madness,
Different
a
universe is what it
primordial
is?
shadowy realm forever cast in the
Okay.
darkness of night, soon came into being. Home to lumbering titans of rock and mud, this realm was a place where evil reigned supreme due to a misbalance between darkness and light. Ninjago, a land where the very laws of gravity were reversed and powerful wish-granting creatures known as the Jinn came into being, filled with majestic palaces and temples in the sky, and ruled by a powerful...
Have we learned about all 16 realms? Because I know about this realm, the one that the Jinns are in. I know about the one with the ghosts. I forget the name of it, but I know about that one. Obviously, Ninjago, the Land of the Dragon and Oni, that's 4. And then there's the one where Garmadon went to get his 4 arms, 5. But that's it, I think.
Lineage of Jinn kings under the iron fist of their mysterious
Maybe there's
Sword
more
of
than
Souls
I know, but
since the start
can't
of time.
think of.
The Underworld, a dark and
the
desolate
Underworld is a
place,
different one? Okay,
first
that's
came
6.
into being as a form of purgatory. Warriors disgraced in battle or beings refusing to accept their death and the natural course of life were sent here upon facing their end in their home realms.
Really?
Stripped to the bone and forever banished to rot in this dungeon, these beings soon came to be known as the Skulkin, carving out their own semblance of life.
No wonder they're
in the
so
dark.
fucking weak.
The mystical world of
Fucking
Chima
bitches.
then rose into being, a land of boundless natural beauty, teeming with life. Animals of all kinds flourished in the world of Chima.
That does look really, really
untouched by
pretty.
the powers of darkness or light. In
But-
the first days of Chima, the entity known only as Mother Sun blessed the land with her warmth,
What the fuck is
creating
Mother
the
Sun?
majestic Mount Kavora and the powerful energy source known as Chi, which transformed
Chi?
the mindless animal denizens of the land into sentient, technologically advanced creatures.
What the fuck is
But
this
after
shit?
the warmth and light of Chima came the Never Realm.
Wait, hold on a fucking
But
second
after
here.
the warmth and light of Chima,
Doesn't this motherfucker have his own show? I think that motherfucker has his own show, and I can't remember the name of it.
came the Never Realm, a brutal, hostile world filled with deadly snowstorms and
Never
fields
Realm.
of ice.
That's the one that
Isolated
the
from the other realms throughout the plane
ghosts are
and
from.
much harder to reach, the Never Realm existed untouched and unspoiled by
Really?
visitors from other worlds, becoming home to the Formlings, a tribe of animalistic shapeshifters, and villagers
no.
and samurai of ice. Next rose the glorious Cloud Kingdom.
Cloud Kingdom, that's
a
7,
realm
yeah,
of
okay.
learning, discovery, and monasteries in the sky. Scholars
It is
and
a different
monks
show?
raised in the Cloud Kingdom were given the crucial task of
why would
writing
I
the
know
pages
that?
of destiny itself, for they dictated the stories, actions, and legends of all other realms,
Or so
having
they
immense
say.
power and influence throughout the ethereal
I
divide.
doubt they actually do anything.
Drifting through the ethereal void, a creature known as the Preeminent came into
Preeminent,
being.
that's what it is.
So large and vast, this Preeminent became known as a realm itself, the Cursed Realm. Arcane magic ripped
Yeah.
holes in the ethereal void, opening passageways into this new cursed realm, and it became possible for denizens of other realms to curse their foes, forever stranding them in the haunting, ghostly realm inside the Preeminent's very body. But when souls from each realm finally came to rest, uncursed and accepting of death, they found peace in the new Departed Realm, a world of the dead,
Departed.
where souls
Departed. Day of the Departed. Wasn't that a movie special?
slept forever upon leaving their mortal bodies. A gorgeous realm of peace,
Oh, it's like heaven.
grasslands, and beauty, the Departed Realm was home to beings
Oh! That's where the first Ninjutsu Master, which is like in the Lloyd had a flash or he had some interaction with the first Ninjutsu Master or whatever in this place, I think, right?
who ushered home the souls of everyone who came there into the light.
Yeah.
Besides all this, there were 8 other realms, many of which existed untouched by
8
travelers
others?
from other realms and remain
Oh my
unknown
God.
and undiscovered to this day.
Oh my
But
god,
there
that was
one
only that
last
sounded like
realm,
20.
A realm which would come to be known as Ninjago, where our story truly begins. In these ancient time before times, Ninjago was a watery realm filled with raging oceans and unforgiving winds. Ruled by the great serpent Wojira who controlled the raw power of wind and water itself, Ninjago was a realm in endless turmoil, with tribalistic islander keepers and water-dwelling Merlopians fighting an endless battle against this terrible...
What? Water-dwelling Lilopians? I think I woke up because I was binging Ninjago, and I think I woke up to an episode where those guys were a character. Like one motherfucker had a trident or something.
Serpent Wojira and the elements themselves. Wojira drew her power from 2 arcane amulets of storm and wave placed on her forehead, allowing her to command the full strength of water and wind to terrorize the land. As the realms developed and grew into their own, symbols, words, and artifacts began to bleed across the ethereal divide. Travelers from other realms became stranded in unforgiving new lands, but one thing was certain.
What is that?
The name of Wojira soon took hold across the countless realms, with the denizens of each world creating their own myths, legends, and warnings of this great serpent who commanded the raw power of wave and storm itself. Rifts began to open from realm to realm, and it became possible for visitors to travel between realms if they knew where to look. Chapter 2: Child of Light and Dark. During all this time, the conflict was brewing in the First Realm. Small skirmishes led to battles, which led to all-out endless war between the Oni and the Dragon, raw forces of destruction and creation itself. Building colossal temples and fortresses, the Oni formed their own society, erecting a great wall between their territory and that of the dragons, and mounting the heads of fallen dragons on spires as a warning.
Do you think that, so the dragons are beings of creation, right? And obviously, the ninja can do the tornado of creation, which is where they take in a bunch of objects, and then they, scientifically, because that's the only way I can really explain it, is they break them down by molecules, and then they restructure those molecules into new things. Like they'll take a bone, they'll break it down, and then build it back as a hamburger or something. That they wouldn't do it for something simple as that, but but it's like, so I believe the tornado creation happened 2 or 3 times. Once when it first happened, obviously we all know about that one. Second time when they were building something at the junkyard, I think, and then a third time when it wasn't just Kai, Jay, Zane, and Cole. It was like 4 or 5 other people doing it at the same time to make like a really powerful tornado of creation. And my question here is, is it the elements that cause that, or is it the Spinjitzu combined with the element that causes the tornado of creation? Because if it's just the elemental power, then a dragon or dragons could literally create anything that they want, right?
The dragons retaliated in turn, led by the godlike mother of all dragons, Firstborn, who had the ability to wield every element at once. Dragons of fire, lightning, earth, ice, and wind, and all other elements pushed back against the darkness of the Oni. As the war reached its breaking point and the once beautiful First Realm was ripped apart by endless turmoil, a child came into existence amidst the forbidden union of a dragon and an Oni. Born of both light and darkness, this child became to be known as the first Spinjitzu Master, having created a powerful martial arts form that summoned pure whirlwinds of light and energy. Having been born of both worlds, this boy understood the necessity of both the light and the dark, understanding that within him was the ability to create or destroy. Refusing to take a side between the Oni and the dragon, this hybrid child was the object of many battles and conflicts between the 2 warring factions, both seeking to control him and win the war. Eventually, he bonded with Firstborn, the mother of all dragons, forging a set of golden dragon armor and a dragonbone sword in a quest to end the endless war and unite the dragon and Oni once and for all. But when this quest failed and the war continued, the first Spinjitzu Master left the realm of Oni and Dragon, having failed in his mission.
The whole reason why he didn't want to fight was because he didn't want to get between them. And then he bonds with a dragon and then fights for the well, I just say he doesn't fight for the dragons, he fights to just bring peace. Fighting for the dragons would mean wiping the Oni out or controlling the Oni, whatever. But he and Firstborn both agreed on just creating peace, I guess, which, I guess peace means having a bigger stick than the other guy, right? And trust me, first Spinjitzu Master is a pretty big fucking stick.
In his stead, the Firstborn dragon fought on, waiting for him to return. As time passed in the First Realm and the war raged on, legends began to form of the first Spinjitzu Master and his golden armor, which was said to have the ability to control the Firstborn dragon herself. Visitors from other realms began to populate the First Realm, enslaving dragons and battling the darkness of the Oni themselves. Fleeing from the First Realm, the hybrid boy managed to travel to the realm of Ninjago, where he found a world engulfed in chaos. The Keepers and Merlopians in dire battle with the terrible serpent Wojira across the turmoil of...
Wait, he created a fighting style? Spinjitzu is a fighting... it's more of a technique, not a fighting style. I mean, I guess if you use it a lot and you combine it with a lot, it should be a fighting style, but based on like how it's shown, it's really just like a technique. Not a fighting style, but how did he create that? I mean, I guess that's the same thing as like how did Bruce Lee create the one-inch punch? He thought of it and he made it a reality. You know?
Of the endless sea. Believing that in order for there to be peace, Wojira must fall,
That's a cool
the
shot.
first Spinjitzu master led the Keepers and Merlopians in an epic battle against Wojira. But despite all their combined might, the boy was unable to defeat the serpent.
Oh,
In
really?
a climactic clash that would later be known as the Battle of 9 Days, a Keeper tribe member named Niad rose to the forefront. Having been blessed with the ability to control the element of water, Niad turned the tide of the war and managed to get a glimpse of the powerful wave and storm elements atop Wojira's head, the source of the Great Serpent's power. But despite all her might and the power of the first Spinjitzu master, Keepers, and Merlopians, Niad was unable to pry the amulets from Wojira's head. And so, she made the ultimate sacrifice, merging her essence with the endless sea to become a god of the ocean. With the awesome
Jesus.
power of the sea at her command,
literal god.
Niad ripped the amulets from Wojira's head, sending the world serpent into an endless slumber at the bottom of the sea. Having completed her mission, Niad fully merged with the ocean, losing all sense of her old self and slowly becoming lost to time. With the battle concluded, the first Spinjitzu master bestowed the wave amulet to the Merlopians, who took it deep.
That's crazy that not even the first Ninjitsu master could take them down. That is crazy, because he's literally a god. Dude is literally a fucking god. Like, and he fucking, that's crazy.
Deep underwater to their sunken cities and realm of the deep. He then entrusted the storm amulet to the Keepers, who retreated to a forbidden island and used the power of the
Forbidden
amulet
island.
to create a dense storm belt around their land, carving out their own unique, isolated society on this island of the Keepers.
Oh, pretty cool.
And as for Wojira, her body was placed in solitude in the deepest part of the ocean, the Tartarus Trench, with the Merlopians erecting a
Why
great...
is everything that's like super high security prison style like Tartarus? Like fucking, well, Tartarus is a prison in like Spider-Man, isn't it? Hold on. No, it's not Tartarus, but it's My Hero Academia. That's what it is. Tartarus is a prison in My Hero Academia. Then Tartarus
great
Ocean or
undersea
whatever.
temple to seal her away.
Why
As
is it a
time went
temple?
on, the tale of Wojira faded into myths and legends. Some grew to believe that Wojira had created the moon by crystallizing a bolt of lightning and sending it far into the sky. Others, like the Keepers, even grew to worship Wojira and her wrath.
Scientifically speaking, the moon was created by an asteroid that hit the planet that broke off and then rapidly cooled and solidified and got in stable orbit.
Believing she protected them from outsiders.
It was a big fucking
But
meteor,
soon,
but still.
the name of the serpent faded from history and was all but lost to time. Chapter 3: Birth of Ninjago. And with the battle won, the first Spinjitzu master began a noble quest to remake the realm of Ninjago into...
By the way, I just want to give huge props to DuckBrick, and if he has a team, his team. Because this is, from what I was able to gather, this is the best History of Ninjago like series. I didn't say series. The best History of Ninjago series, like, on YouTube. It's and by best I mean like highest quality one. I mean, you know, like the it has music in the background. It has cool animation. It has the ADR is not super filled with the fucking white noise like literally all the other ones that I saw. Like, this one's really high quality. I just want to say, really, really good job. It's really, really impressive, and not a lot of people take the time to do that. I'm one of them. So, just, you know, it's really, really cool that you did that, and thank you.
to a place of balance, a land of peace. Venturing to aspire amidst the endless sea, he came across the Golden Peaks, a mysterious volcanic mountain range that spewed molten gold instead of lava. Harvesting this raw golden power, the first Spinjitzu master erected a grand temple of light, forging 4 core.
Oh, that was the Temple of Light's made out of this. That? I thought the Temple of Light was made out of just. Actually, I never thought of that. Actually, I just always thought like, yeah, it's just there, you know. But no, that had to have been created. I didn't.
4 weapons of Spinjitzu out of the main elements of creation: the Scythe of Quakes, the Nunchucks of Lightning, the Shurikens of Ice, and the Sword of Fire. With these 4 weapons, the first Spinjitzu master drew from the power of the dragons within him, harnessing the force of creation to bring forth the land of Ninjago, a massive island representing the balance between good and evil, of darkness and of light.
Okay, so he couldn't create, like, he wasn't like an actual god until he had those weapons, because he couldn't harness the power of creation. Okay, I thought he could just like snap his fingers or his claw or whatever, and then just, you know, boom, here's a temple, boom, here's a dragon, whatever. But no, he actually just he needed those weapons to harness that power within him. That's interesting.
With Ninjago created, the Merlopians deep underwater in their own kingdom, and the Keepers isolated on their stormy island, the world was rife for creation and new life.
Now, something that I am curious about is I wonder how the Elemental Masters got started. Because obviously we all know that you know, the ninja are Elemental Masters, and they've gotten their power through just being descendants of the first of, you know, of their parents, whatever, whoever has it, right? It's just a hereditary thing, I guess. And also, weirdly enough, when you pass on your power, it leaves you. That's really, really weird. But I just I don't know. Yeah, that's really weird. I'm thinking it probably, like, when it awakens in your child, or when it, yeah, my guess is when it awakens is when you lose it. But also, it might just be like a time thing. It might be like after 10 years, it's completely gone. You can't use it anymore. It's now in them. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really curious how those Elemental Masters got started. Because I believe it's all because of dragons. That's my theory. It's because they found, like, people found dragons. They learned how to use those elements, something like that.
But their happiness was not to last, for spreading forth from the first realm, the Oni breached the ethereal divide and crossed over to the realm of Ninjago, having finally found the first Spinjitzu master after years of searching for him. Led by 3 Oni warlords who represented vengeance, deception, and hatred, the Oni swept across the land of Ninjago, threatening to plunge the entire realm into darkness. Gathering their ranks in the center of the island of Ninjago, the Oni erected a stronghold fortress deep within the jungle of Primeval's Eye, using this fortress as a base of operations as they struck out against the first Spinjitzu master. This terrible Oni temple in Primeval's Eye would be the source of many conflicts across...
I'm sorry, hold on.
Using this fortress as a base of operations as they struck out against the first Spinjitzu master. This terrible Oni...
What is that? What's that audio change about, I wonder? Does that haven't happened yet? I'm guessing it's a different day, and that's why he sounds a little different.
Temple in Primeval's Eye would be the source of many conflicts across Ninjago's future, but for now, it stood silent as a bastion of evil on the island of Ninjago. All seemed lost until Mistake, a full-blooded Oni, betrayed her own kind, falling in love with the beauty and potential of Ninjago's world and siding with the first Spinjitzu master. With the power of an Oni by his side, the hybrid boy finally accomplished what he failed to do in the first realm, beating back the Oni and defeating their 3 warlords. With the Oni once more pushed back to the first realm, the first Spinjitzu master claimed the 3 Oni masks, sources of the warlord's power, and sealed them away across Ninjago, where eventually they would become lost to time. Chapter 4: Era of the Stone War.
Stone Wars! Yes, we're getting to the part that I like! This is my favorite part of all Ninjago's dealing with the Stone Army and the Temple of Light. It's so good. I love
Evil
it.
still remained, with most of the Oni banished. A primordial force of darkness known only as the
Overlord
manifested in the shadows, a dark counterpart to the first Spinjitzu Master. Growing ever stronger by the day, the Overlord created an indestructible stone army to rise up against the first Spinjitzu Master, and constructed a Temple of Fortitude with an ancient binding spell to shield it from the golden power of the Master. To combat this growing force of evil, the first Spinjitzu Master unlocked the power of the dragons within him, summoning a mighty golden dragon to strike back against the Overlord, and constructing a legendary golden mech to go forth into battle. But despite all this, the first Spinjitzu Master was unable to vanquish the darkness of the Overlord.
That's how the elemental
Desperate,
dragon
he
started?
used his power to split the island into two halves, an island of light that we now know as Ninjago, and an island of darkness where the Overlord was sealed away beneath
That's
the endless
crazy,
sea.
dude.
With the stone army buried beneath
Sorry that I'm
Ninjago
not
City,
center camera.
cut off from
My
their
feet are
source of
fucking
power,
hurting. I need to
the
put them up.
ultimate battle
So,
between
sorry
good
about that.
and evil remained unfinished, and yet a time of peace finally fell across the land. At long last, the first Spinjitzu Master decided it was time to populate the land of Ninjago, opening rifts in the ethereal divide for humans and Serpentine, humanoid snake hybrids, to cross over into Ninjago from other realms.
You just
and
kidnap
separate
people?
lands. As thousands of years passed, the first Spinjitzu Master continued to guide Ninjago, the immortal power of Dragon and Oni still coursing through his veins. He watched as great
What do you mean
cities,
immortal? He died.
palaces, and temples were constructed by humans. He watched as new species of Serpentine evolved and rose to the forefront, from the commanding Hypnobrai, the tunneling Constricti, the bog-dwelling Venomari, the proud Fangpire, and the powerful Anacondri. Inspired by the legendary Niad and her command over water, the first Spinjitzu Master bestowed a group of humans with countless elemental powers
Oh, he
drawn
just
from the
gives them
many
it?
dragons of the first realm, forming the first in a long line of elemental masters in Ninjago's history. Meanwhile, the Serpentine erected great pyramids and formed their own kingdom, ruled by the benevolent King Mambo V.
This I know.
With peace between humans and Serpentine negotiated and clear territory guidelines demarcated,
I literally just saw this part the other day.
the realm of Ninjago was finally complete. This period became known as Ninjago's First Age. Chapter 5: Sons of the Spinjitzu Master. It was in this time of tranquility that the first...
So did he just like... Did he bang somebody? Do you think he banged somebody, or did he just like... snap his... I still don't know what to call that thing. His claw? I'll call it a fucking claw. Did he just snap his claw and be like, I want children, give them my blood? Or like, what do you think he did?
Spinjitzu Master had two sons.
Because I highly doubt,
The
yeah,
eldest
they
child,
didn't go into that at
Garmadon,
all.
had more Oni than dragon blood in him, inheriting the power of destruction from his father. The second son, Wu, was more akin to the dragons, inheriting their power of creation. Together, Garmadon and Wu represented the yin-yang balance of Ninjago, the light and dark coexisting alongside each other. In time, the two brothers were taught Spinjitzu, mastering the powerful form of martial arts as mere children. But with the shadow of the Overlord still ever present, the first Spinjitzu...
Bro, who did he bang? I want to know. Do you think it was that water chick? I bet it was that water chick. No, wait, no. That's literally like putting his dick in the ocean. Never mind. Hold on. Oh my god. Oh god, what's happening? Stop it. Stop breaking. What do you mean not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming? What is it? This is buttery smooth. What do you mean, governor? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. It was literally offline for like a minute. It's fine.
Spinjitzu Master dedicated his life to research and discovery, crafting powerful scrolls of Spinjitzu that would bestow unbelievable power upon their user at a cost. These scrolls, which he would later forbid his children from...
I actually don't know the cost. I didn't get there. I fell asleep by that point. But bro, like seriously, who the fuck did he bang? Like for real. I gotta, let me... might know. Timmy might know. Timmy! 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 Oh, never mind. Yeah, no, I got nothing. Alright, whatever.
From ever using, slowly corrupt their user with the promise of unlimited power. Considering these scrolls far too dangerous to use, the first Spinjitzu Master locked them away, warning Wu and Garmadon of their corruptive power.
What is the danger with it?
But the children were curious
does it just
about
make
the
you, like,
greater
aggressive?
world and sought to explore the land.
I know that. I know it does
to
that.
its
I know it makes
fullest.
you aggressive.
Crossing over into Serpentine Valley, they snuck into the Pyramid of the Serpents, only to be caught and jailed by Mambo's guards for trespassing. There, they encountered the devious Hypnobrai Asphira, who promised them their freedom in return for them teaching her Spinjitzu. While Garmadon was distrustful of the snake sorceress and never intended to keep up their end of the bargain, Wu stuck to his word, meeting Asphira in private and teaching her Spinjitzu without the knowledge or blessing of his father or brother. But with her newfound power of Spinjitzu, Asphira and her most loyal followers launched a rebellion against King Mambo V, briefly overthrowing him and overwhelming his guards. Appalled by the usage of their sacred power, Wu and Garmadon had no other choice but to steal the scrolls of forbidden Spinjitzu, using them to overpower and overwhelm Asphira in a brief but climactic clash, demonstrating the legendary power of the forbidden scrolls. Enraged, Asphira was convinced Wu had betrayed her, and taught her a lesser form of Spinjitzu. And when King Mambo V sentenced her to magical entombment for the rest of time, she swore vengeance on Wu, who in her eyes was a treacherous deceiver. Following these events,
I do wish they used Spinjitzu more. I don't know why my voice sounded. I do hope that they use. I do think that they should use Spinjitzu more, because it's like, it's literally like in the title, Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu or whatever. Like, literally in the title, but they don't use. I mean, they use it like once per episode usually, but they don't use it nearly enough. I feel like. Especially for how cool it is, for how cool of an idea it is. I think that they should definitely use it more.
The first Spinjitzu Master seized the scrolls from his sons, separating the powerful artifacts and hiding them across the land, so nobody could ever use the corruptive power of the forbidden Spinjitzu.
Why didn't he just destroy it?
Furious with his sons, the first Spinjitzu Master refused to speak to them for years, relocating his family to a remote monastery of Spinjitzu.
Oh, it was made...
Erected at the top of the mountains of impossible height, the monastery stood as a beacon of light, hope, and creation, home base of the Spinjitzu Master. South of the main villages of Ninjago, the monastery was the perfect place for the Spinjitzu Master to train and raise his sons in solitude within its protective walls. But one fateful day, the two brothers were playing in the monastery's walls when Wu lost a toy sword behind the gate. Fearful of his father's disapproval, Wu begged Garmadon to retrieve his weapon, and as the young Garmadon ventured out of the walls, he encountered a small serpent in the grass. The young Great Devourer, a mythical snake prophesied to one day consume all in its path, including the entire realm of Ninjago. Fangs dripping with corruptive venom, the Devourer lashed out at Garmadon, infecting his blood with its cursed bite.
Ever heard of air jutsu? Air jutsu? Is it called air jutsu, or isn't it called something else? No, it's called air jutsu. Yeah, I know about it. It's where you go, woo! You fly up.
Dormant Oni blood.
They also didn't use that ever after that season.
Weeks of illness and turmoil,
like,
it became
or no, sorry, they stopped using that after the
but there was nothing
the
the
design
first Spinjitzu Master
change.
could do.
Or the design
Years
change.
passed, and the brothers grew into young adults as the first Spinjitzu Master grew ever older.
This is a cool look. I don't like the little like goatee thing, but the hair is really fucking cool. I honestly hope to see Lloyd with that kind of hair. That would look cool.
But despite countless missions, trials, and quests to uncover artifacts and potions to draw the venom from Garmadon, all attempts failed, and as the years passed, the darkness inside Garmadon grew stronger and stronger. Chapter 6: Early History. As Wu and Garmadon grew ever older, the first Spinjitzu Master...
How fucking old are they? Because they're at least 3 generations old. Right? They're at least 3 generations old. Because it's at least the first generation of Spinjitzu Masters. The second one, which is this one. And then the third one, which is the one that we see in the show. It's at least 3. Which is like at least 150, give or so. They're easily over 100. Easily. But I feel like it's like over 1,000. Because I can't say for certain. But I feel like the Serpentine were trapped underground for like a millennia or something, or someone
Master was satisfied with his work and what the realm of Ninjago
yeah, they're
had become.
well over 100.
As one of his final tasks,
Also, Garmadon is older than Wu. That's also another weird thing. Garmadon is older than Wu, but he looks really damn good. I guess he just doesn't have the beard. That's what really gives Wu that old man vibe.
Master created a powerful artifact known as the Realm Crystal, a magical relic that could be used to breach the ethereal divide itself and rip open gateways to other realms, except the departed realm.
Wu in Ninjago is 5,000 years old, likely around 4,000 to 5,000 years old. Due to his only blood and exposure to the reversal template, he's been known to fluctuate between being a baby and an old man rapidly. I know that I know about the time blade thing. I was just asking about his age. You don't have to give me the whole fucking story. That's what this video is for.
And Neverrealm due to their
isolation. Then, yeah, he's like
the divide.
4,000 years old. That's
time was
insane.
Coming to an end, the Master locked himself and the Realm Crystal away in a secret tomb, leaving a message on his staff so his sons could one day retrace his steps and find his final resting place, and use the colossal power of the crystal to venture into new worlds if need be. And after the passing of the first Spinjitzu Master, the solemn duty of protecting Ninjago from evil fell to Wu, Garmadon, and their alliance of elemental masters, sworn guardians of the land. Together, this force protected Ninjago from roving bandits, pirates, and warlords, defeating a dangerous four-armed mutant criminal named Samukai, who was disgraced in battle and fell to the underworld upon his death. As the two brothers protected Ninjago, they eventually encountered the young woman Miss.
Did it really take a whole army of elemental masters to take down the fucking skeletons? The ninja did that by themselves in like a fucking night. What the fuck? They might have been stronger then, I don't know.
Misako, who met the sons of the first Spinjitzu Master, befriending them and even being taught Spinjitzu by Wu. Soon, both brothers became incredibly fond of Misako, and she eventually chose to journey alongside them as they and the Elemental Masters protected Ninjago from evil. During this time, other masters and scholars rose to prominence, chief of which was Master Yang, who during the time known as the Edo period invented a powerful form of martial arts called Air Jitsu, allowing its users to soar great distances through the air in a stunning elemental whirlwind. But what Yang did not tell his followers was that Air Jitsu was derived from the Edo magic, a terrible dark form of magic that would corrupt its user and destabilize the very fabric of Ninjago the more it was used.
What?
But Yang's ambition grew too great, and after uncovering an artifact known as the Yin Blade, which was said to have the power to cheat death, Yang's experiments cursed he and all his students, forever binding their souls to his now haunted Temple of Erjitsu and sealing them away for all time in limbo between life and death. As the years went on, the great Serpentine of the Valley slowly died off, with the last Hypnobrai rulers being sealed away in great sarcophagi, their stunning pyramid the only remnant of their once great culture, slowly buried by wind and sand over the eons. As for the rest of the Serpentine tribes, they continued to thrive in isolated mountains and caves, separate from the society of humans. And even during this time, new elemental powers began to spring forth. In the far-off industrial land of Metalonia, a renowned blacksmith envied the abilities of the elemental masters. Drawing from the mystical amber of an ancient crooked tree, this blacksmith forged the first chronosteel weapons, artifacts with the power to steal and absorb fragments of elemental power. Channeling the power of the chronosteel into his urn of enmity, this blacksmith created the volatile power of amber for the first time. And after a life shaped by envy and regret, the blacksmith bore children and passed the power of amber to them. In a final confrontation with Wu and Garmadon, he tried to—
Damn! Now that's what I'm talking about, right? That's the fucking look I want. Garmadon's looking fucking badass too. Fucking Holy shit, I want to see those guys more.
They used the Urn of Enmity to siphon the very essence of their dragon and Oni power, only for the sentient artifact to turn against him, sucking his soul inside instead, and trapping the first elemental master of Amber in a state of undeath. Hundreds of years passed, with new generations of elemental masters being born, and Wu and Garmadon still guiding society, kept alive due to the mysterious nature of their hybrid blood. As the power and might of the elemental masters grew, they unlocked new abilities, such as the power to generate elemental dragons from thin air, drawing from the physical manifestations of the elements themselves, and overcoming their deepest personal obstacles to create elemental dragons of energy. 200 years before modern times, this era was marked as the time of the...
Yeah, he's well over 150, which was my original guess. Oh my, that's fucking ridiculous, dude. That he's that old, or that they are that old. I doubt Garmadon's that much older. He's probably only like a few years older. But, oh my
Stone
god.
Warrior, when teams of archaeologists began to uncover remnants of the Overlord's stone army beneath the streets of their villages and cities. And during this time of development, tales began to be told of the most powerful beings inhabiting the world of Ninjago. The legend of the Wishmaster was one of these stories, telling tales of a man in Ninjago who lives in an abandoned temple near the peak of the highest mountain in the Wailing Alps. Stubbornly clinging to the mountain's steep, snow-clad sides, this temple would be pummeled by the wailing winds, and its time-worn rafters were pitched in a continuous battle between the cold, wind, age, and gravity. But should weary travelers be able to make the steep journey up to the Wailing Alps and towards the Wishmaster's temple, legends told of his ability to change the lives of those able to visit him. And in that moment, they would stare into the face of destiny and be forever changed. But what the denizens of Ninjago did not know was that the legend of the Wishmaster was all too true. But the powerful being was not a benevolent force, but instead a ruler bent on conquest, gathering years to build up their legends and ensnaring servants like Yana with the seductive power of their superior mind, operating out of a palace of pure ice, sculpted.
Seductive, you say? Someone say seductive.
By the very first elemental masters of ice as a fortress of winter, the Wishmaster and their ensnared servants continued to spread tales and rumors of their existence throughout the land, slowly building their forces.
She was the first elemental master of ice, I guess?
And tapping into the darker abilities of the element of ice to one day plunge the land into eternal winter. And yet, for hundreds of years, the halls of the Ice Masters, each portraying statues of the famous elemental masters of ice and all who came before, would remain undisturbed, for the Wishmaster needed time to grow his powers and threaten Ninjago in the future. Chapter 7, Infamy of the Pirates. Around the same time, in the realm of Jinjago, a young Jin prince named Nadakon was born. Born of the royal house of Jinjago, but yearning for adventure, excitement, and most of all, power, Nadakon was consistently disobedient of his parents' orders. Yearning for the ultimate power of being able to grant infinite wishes to use for himself, Nadakon soon discovered that once married, Jin kings would be granted this colossal power, only feeding his ambition more and more. And as
But he needs to be a king, which he didn't get until Jinjago was crumbling. That's interesting.
He grew older and more curious of the other realms, he broke off from his family to explore Ninjago, and was disowned and disgraced from the Jin kingdom in the process. But Nadakon's greed was overwhelming, and since he was forbidden to ever set foot in Jinjago again, he soon fell to a life of piracy in the waves of Ninjago, quickly gaining notoriety and infamy as he terrorized the seas. Seeking a word
because of his abilities, he would be an insane matchup, or an insane enemy to go up against in Ninjago, because nobody else has anything like that other than, like, the only people that could possibly do anything, which even they can't, are elemental masters. Unless they're like 100% fully realized, like they've been doing this shit for a while. Like they aren't really doing shit.
Worthy crew that crafty Nadakon scoured the land of Ninjago, using his reality warping powers to grant wishes to twist the words of his future crewmates, binding them to his servitude. First,
Is that what
Nadakon
happened?
sought a skilled mechanic, meeting a famed shipbuilder named Monk, renowned across the land for building the strongest and most durable vessels. But Monk yearned to be the most efficient and greatest mechanic of all time, and work as if his tools were a part of his very body. And so, in a twisted sense, his wish was granted, as Nadakon transformed him into a mechanized monkey-like creature, faster and more efficient than ever before. With his first crewmate secured, Nadakon commanded Monk, now Monkey Wretch, to construct his now infamous vessel, the Misfortune's Keep. Throughout his travels, Nadakon gathered a motley crew of unique travelers, warriors, and opportunists, boasting a wide range of unique skills and abilities as a result of his wish-granting power. First Mate Flintlock was a sailor adrift at sea tricked into forever serving the crew of the greatest pirate vessel in history. Master Thief Doubloon managed to learn Spinjitzu himself through strength and discipline, before being transformed into a mute, two-faced sentinel as punishment for attempting to rob Misfortune's Keep.
He learned Spinjitzu himself? There's only one other person that's ever been able to do that. And he wasn't even able to do it right. That's crazy that he was able to do that himself. There's literally only 2 people in all of history, or in all of Ninjago history, can do that.
And when a young girl yearned to be the most beautiful woman at the ball and stand out amongst the crowd, Nadakon transformed her into the hulking Dogshank, a monstrous beast who was sure to draw the eye of all who laid eyes on her.
Yeah.
And together with humans and Serpentine rejects alike, Nadakon and his crew soon became the most feared pirates of the endless seas, regularly raiding ships, coastal towns, and pillaging any and all who got in their way. Operating out of the bays of the coastal city of Styx, the Misfortune's Keep and its crew soon became a major threat for all in Ninjago. And despite his reputation as a cold-hearted pirate captain, Nadakon soon fell in love with a cruel, ambitious girl named Delara, and the two were betrothed, with the allure of infinite wishes for Nadakon closer than ever. But the reign of the Jin captain was not to last forever, for a younger pirate captain named Soto sought to rival Nadakon's dominion. Rising to prominence, Soto became known as the Terror of the Endless Sea, challenging Nadakon in a climactic duel between the crew of his own ship, the Destiny's Bounty. In preparation for this fight, Soto harvested the...
Why do both of their ships have badass names? Misfortune's Keep and the Destiny's Bounty. Those are, first of all, 2 amazing looking ships, but also 2 badass motherfucking names.
Venom of the Tiger Widow Spider, which was deadly to mortals but would only slow down a Jin, long enough to trap him in an ancient relic known as the Teapot of Tyran, an arcane object that had the ability to trap souls within its grasp. Forged from the very gold the golden weapons themselves were made from, and created at the Temple of Light by the first Spinjitzu master himself, the Teapot of Tyran was a powerful object that Captain Soto soon would plan to use against Nadakon the Jin. And one fateful, stormy night, the crew of the Misfortune's Keep met the crew of the Destiny's Bounty in an epic battle on the Endless Sea. Pirate crews clashed, while Soto managed to corner Nadakon in his quarters with the venom of the Tiger Widow. Defeated but not killed, Nadakon's soul was sucked into the Teapot of Tyran, as he vowed revenge on Soto and the people of Ninjago for this punishment. Having lost the battle, the eclectic crew of the Misfortune's Keep was banished across the 16 realms, with Soto opening rifts in the ethereal divide to maroon each key member in a separate realm. And so, the reign of Nadakon and his crew was finally over. But Captain Soto's journey was just beginning, and over his travels, he learned of the existence of the legendary Dark Island, the very island that had been cast beneath the Endless Sea by the first Spinjitzu master to entomb the Overlord eons ago. Obsessed with this journey to the Dark Island and the rumors of unlimited power hidden deep within it,
He never
Soto
went there,
spent
though,
years
did
of
he?
his life on the sea, desperate to locate any
it
trace
was
of this
underwater.
fabled island and driving his crew to the bone. With days fading to months and months fading to years, Soto and his crew searched endlessly across the oceans, and in one deadly squall, the Destiny's Bounty was hurled onto the unforgiving rocks of the coast of Ninjago, destroying the once proud vessel and instantly killing Soto and his crew, ending the age of piracy.
Yeah.
Chapter 8, City in the Skies and Emperor of Ice. As the era of the pirates came to an end, Ninjago came to be governed by a grand royal family. Operating as figureheads, the families of the Emperor and Empress kept to themselves, hiding away in their Palace of Secrets and governing from the shadows. And in distant, foreign lands and mountains across the realm of Ninjago, more and more species and kingdoms rose to power, living in their own unique ecosystems and societies. the radiant skyfolk settled in the distant mountains of Ninjago.
There are other societies in Ninjago? I thought it was like Ninjago City, and that's it. I thought Ninjago City and the Dark Island. I thought that was fucking it. Like everything else in Ninjago is just there, but nobody else inhabits it. But I just that's stupid of me to have thought. Whatever.
Erecting the glorious golden kingdom of Shintaro in the clouds. In the caves below Shintaro, deep in the mountains, the goblin-like geckos and troll-like months lived in peace, rarely venturing from their caves and passageways. Living in seclusion, these skyfolk in the castles above and the geckos and months in the caves deep within the mountain were considered legend by the larger population of Ninjago, with few ever venturing into the mythical kingdom.
I also need food. Oh.
But when a dark necromancer from Ninjago named Hazadur sought the powers and riches beneath Shintaro for himself, the geckos and months were unprepared for battle against such an overwhelming evil force,
this animation?
quickly succumbing to the might of Hazadur and his vicious undead dragon Griefbringer. Establishing a slave empire within the mines of Shintaro and resurrecting bones of warriors, Hazadur established a fortress beneath the mines of Shintaro, his cruelty and iron fist subjugating these simple creatures in the mines to his wrath.
Where did this come from?
With Shintaro under the control of a dark necromancer and the rest of Ninjago unaware of such evil, civilization continued to advance at a rapid rate.
How did they never fucking hear of that shit? What? What time is it where I live? It's 8:50 p.m. I've been up since 3 p.m. yesterday. And I've barely eaten. So.
100 years before our story truly begins, Serpentine tribal
100 years before. This would be when the... Wait a second. 100 years before. That means that... How old is Kai's father? What the fuck? Been around for like centuries by this point at least.
Sciences reformed, technology began to advance in Ninjago City, and more elemental masters were born and trained under the watchful eyes of Wu and Garmadon. And in the far-off realm of Cloud Kingdom, a sacred prophecy was written, one that would deeply affect the future.
You've been up for more than 24 hours. I mean, I took a 5-hour... Well, I didn't take a 5-hour nap. I passed the fuck out for 5 hours. Luckily, I almost missed work because of that, but... Yeah, I've been up. I've been in the last 48 hours, or no, in the last 30 hours, I've had 5 hours of sleep.
Future of the 16 realms for all time, a prophecy that foretold the coming of a legendary green ninja, a savior.
Wait, hold on, I'm sorry.
And more elemental masters were born and trained under the watchful eyes of Wu and Garmadon.
So yeah, I guess maybe these elemental masters are there've been multiple generations of elemental masters by this point, I guess.
And in the far-off realm of Cloud Kingdom, a sacred prophecy was written, one that would deeply affect the future of the 16 realms for all time. A prophecy that foretold the coming of a legendary green ninja, a savior who would bring light to Ninjago and vanquish the Overlord once and for all.
Is YT my only job? No. I barely make anything off of YouTube. I do it for fucking fun and because I want to make people laugh. Hopefully I succeed at those two things. Obviously the goal is to get to YouTube as a full-time job, but no, I barely make anything. So, fun fact, yeah. But just keep in mind, because I know you're probably looking at my channel now being like, he has 24,000 subs or whatever I have. And he's like, barely makes anything. My channel performs very poorly. And that's all on me. It's all on me. A channel my size would make 2 or 3 times more than I make. Most likely. Which is a fair amount, in all honesty. 2 times more of what I make, which is what I should be making, at least. That's a fair amount. That's... I don't want to give a number, but you know, it's, let's just say that Google AdSense pays out, you can only get paid, first of all, they pay on the 22nd of every month. And in order to get paid, you have to have at least $100 in your AdSense. And I'll just say this. I don't make $100 a month, so I don't get paid every single month. Now, if I made twice as much as I did, I would get paid every single month. I will just say that. I don't want to give numbers, but there you go.
But that is a story for another time. As the realm
Number from isn't money from YouTube based off views. Yes, but I've talked to a few people, and this one girl I was talking to, I was like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, how many subs do you have? And I'm like, I have 2,400. She's like, I have 24,000. And she was like, oh my God. I thought you would say like 100. And I'd be like, oh, congrats. And then because she said that, I went and asked, okay, out of curiosity, how much money do you think I make? And because of my sub count, she was like, oh, probably like 1,500 a month. I'm just like, I fucking wish. Yeah, money from YouTube is based off of views as well as some other metrics, but mainly the main one that usually matters is the views. The other one that contributes is watch time. But you could have a video with 10,000 views make 3 or 4 times more than a video with 100,000 or even 1 million views. If it has really long watch time and a good chunk of ads, it can make way more. But usually that doesn't happen. So views are usually how that works.
Ninjago continued to advance and develop its own legends and history. Conflict was brewing in the Neverrealm. Humble tribes of formlings and humans toiled in the ice under the watchful eye of Emperor Grimfax and his samurai legions. The formlings, blessed with the power to shift into animal form.
What the fuck is this? What is this? Get this out of here!
Forms lived happily in their forest villages, isolated from the human tribes and residing in the beautiful great woods of the realm. But one formling was cursed to never be able to shift into animal form, Vex. Cast out from the Formling village for threatening the chief, Vex grew bitter and vengeful against the Formlings, and during a grand choosing ceremony where young Formlings like Akita and her brother Kataru would finally find their forms, Vex returned to the village, swearing revenge and the destruction of their people. As Akita and her brother ventured far away from the village of the Formlings to undergo the trials of finding their animal forms, dark rifts opened in the icy plains of the Neverrealm. In massive bursts of energy and light, chunks of arcane, advanced technology from the far future of Ninjago's realm materialized in the Neverrealm, along with a mysterious stranger who had been cursed by unknown forces and sent hurtling back in time across the ethereal divide to the most inhospitable realm imaginable.
He has a
This stranger would become one of our story's main heroes, a bastion of hope and light for the realm of Ninjago and beyond. But his story is yet to come, and exactly how he ended up nearly 100 years in the past in a different realm is a tale for another day. Wielding a staff with the arcane scroll of forbidden spinjitzu wrapped around it, this robotic stranger made attempts to contact his friends and family in the realm of Ninjago, to no avail. In a last-ditch attempt to power up his futuristic technology and get home, the stranger rebooted his own robotic mainframe, only to be interrupted by Vex, who came across this bizarre sight and witnessed the power of the Staff of Forbidden Spinjitzu firsthand. Wiping the stranger's memory, Vex convinced the powerful warrior Vice that he was the true emperor of the Neverrealm, and it was his solemn mission to reclaim his kingdom. And so, under the sway of the manipulative Vex and slowly being corrupted by the power of Forbidden Spinjitzu, the stranger used his innate elemental ice abilities to storm King Grimfax's fortress, brainwashing his samurai to fight as undead warriors and zombies of ice, and forcing the former king to fight for him. In a dark ritual, the Ice Emperor used the power of the Scroll of Forbidden Spinjitzu to sculpt a vicious dragon from pure ice, Boreal. And so began the cruel, decades-long reign of the Ice Emperor and his advisor Vex. Slowly, Vex managed to convince this Ice Emperor that all other species were threats to his reign. First freezing all the Formlings solid in their villages, then sending the Blizzard Samurai to commit genocide on the peaceful Yeti who lived in the mountains in solitude, killing all but a young Yeti named Crag, who grew angry and distrustful of outsiders in the process. Meanwhile, the formlings Akita and Kitaru had just discovered their animal forms in a magical ceremony atop the treetops of the Neverrealm. Descending back down to their village, they were appalled to find their entire family and people frozen in solid ice, a token of revenge from their former villager Vex. Just then, they were spotted by the circling Boreal, who under the command of the Ice Emperor lashed out in rage against the two remaining formlings, snatching Kitaru in an instant and leaving Akita alone and vengeful, presuming Kitaru had been killed by the power of the Ice Dragon. Instead, Kitaru had been brought to the Forsaken Palace of the Ice Emperor, where he would be imprisoned for nearly 40 years. With the grip of the Ice Emperor tightening around the Neverrealm, and the remaining villages fearful of both the Emperor and even the legends of Wojira, which had bled in from the realm of Ninjago, the icy world was thrust into darkness, where it would remain in turmoil for decades to come.
What? I'm sorry, I just need a minute to take all that in. What? There have been two things that have completely racked my brain so far. Which is a little low, but also let's keep in mind, I might do 9 more streams. Or no, sorry, I'm gonna be doing 20 more streams. Sorry. Maybe if I continue to do this, I will do 20 more. And that's like at least 40 like crazy ass fucking things.
Chapter 9: The Serpentine Wars. With Shintaro and the Neverrealm in conflict, Ninjago City continued to grow and advance, unaware of the threats just beyond the ethereal void and in their own realm. Delving into advanced technology, an inventor named Dr. Julian created the first sentient AI with a soul, the Ninjroid Zane. Raising Zane like a son and hiding his robotic nature from the world and even Zane himself, this tinkerer formed a strong bond with the evolving Ninjroid, even building a robotic falcon companion to keep him safe. Zane's mission? To protect those who cannot protect themselves. Training with his father for years in the Birchwood Forest, Zane evolved from learning to walk, speak, and perform basic human activities like cooking to understanding a deeper philosophy of human existence and the fragility and value of a single human life. Meanwhile, the venom of the Great Devourer in Garmadon's veins continued to corrupt him, driving more and more of a wedge between him and his brother Wu, who was helpless to prevent this corruption. Breaking off from his bond with...
He does these in, like, big-ass chunks. Like, fucking, he does these all in, like, a oneer. That's really, really impressive. He does, like 10 minutes of reading a script and hoping that he doesn't fuck up, I imagine. Because that's what those breaks are. That's why it's, like, it'll change suddenly to, like, a whole new... like he'll sound completely different all of a sudden because it's a new recording, possibly even a new day, or like, you know, a different. It's a different time frame. He's not doing it at the same time, and because of that, you know, he's not in that rhythm. He needs to take a second. Usually after a few minutes, it'll get back. How long has the Venom been trying to corrupt Garmadon? That. He was a kid when he got bit. He's like, this is at least 1,000 years later. If they are 4,000 to 5,000 years old, this is at least 1,000 years after he got bit, minimum. If he's like 500 years old, it's like probably 300 years later. That's a really, really good point.
With Wu in forging his own path, Garmadon sought the tutelage of an ambitious warlord named Master Chen, who was already training a pupil of his own, the dark sorcerer Klaus. Together, Garmadon and Klaus studied under Master Chen for months, with Garmadon eventually gaining the title of Lord and earning Chen's favor as his right hand, much to Klaus's resentment. Despite Garmadon's separation from Wu and his studies under Chen, Misako still remained close to both brothers, with hints of romantic involvement blossoming between both her and the brothers. Wu and Misako were preparing for a bright future when Chen managed to intercept a crucial letter, a heartfelt confession of love from Wu to Misako, which he convinced Garmadon to sign as his own words instead. And in a single act, Garmadon had cheated Wu of his future, and Wu was none the wiser. Rejected by Misako and separated from his brother, Wu began to dedicate his life to the training and tutelage of new elemental masters, keeping their fighting skills fresh should evil ever threaten Ninjago again. During this time, he came across an orphan on the streets, scrounging through trash bins at his monastery. In a twist of fate, this orphan was a descendant of one of the first elemental masters of wind, and Wu took in the boy and trained him as his own. Discovering the prophecy of the Green Ninja, which stated that one ninja would rise above the rest and be transformed into a golden savior when placed before the 4 golden weapons, Wu became convinced that his star pupil, the orphan boy Maro, was destined to be the ultimate spinjitzu master. It was in this time that Wu made a crucial mistake, promising Maro that if he worked hard enough and excelled in his lessons, he would likely become the Green Ninja. And since that day, a darkness grew in Maro, his ambition to become the greatest hero of the realm overtaking his desire for good. In his hunger for power and fame, Maro rose through the ranks of Wu's academy, cementing his place as the likely Green Ninja. But when Maro was brought before the golden weapons of Spinjitzu and they did not glow green to signify his destiny, Maro felt cheated, blaming Wu for his false promises. Wreaking havoc in the monastery and abandoning Wu, Maro vowed revenge on his former master, seeking out the next best power in the land, the Realm Crystal, locked away in the secret tomb of the first Spinjitzu master. And as the years passed and Maro became consumed with his quest for the Realm Spinjitzu master. And as the years passed and Maro became consumed with his quest for the Realm Crystal.
I thought I heard a Snapchat notification. I thought it was my phone, which is why I looked over if you noticed that. And then my phone wasn't on, so I was like, that in the audio? No, I'm just crazy.
Crystal and greater power in lands beyond. He was cursed by his enemies as a mere teenager, his undying soul transported to the cursed realm inside the preeminent, and his mortal body rotting away in the caves of despair. And as Maro quested for the Realm Crystal and met his demise, the world of Ninjago was on the precipice of war. Ancient Serpentine legends made their way to current times, with the Serpentine dreading the power of the Golden Master, a prophesied dark ruler who
Golden Master
used the power of the first Spinjitzu Master to destroy the Serpentine and all the realm. Likewise, the humans grew anxious of the tale of the Great Devourer, which was said to be released someday by the Serpentine to devour the entire world.
That's really interesting how both of those started at around the same time. It's almost as if someone was trying to pit the snakes against the Hit the gritty on cam. Alright. How you want it? Tell me how you like gritty. You like it well done or just with a little bit of red in there? Alright. That's my gritty. Ah, my feet, dude. My feet are completely, like, killed. So I'm not doing more than that, sorry.
Paranoia over these two fables growing by the day, Master Chen manipulated both sides.
Don't clip that. Don't fucking clip that.
The first Serpentine War, which would inevitably make Chen the supreme power in the land.
Oh my god, my feet, man.
Despite the 5 Serpentine tribes isolated and in conflict with each other, Chen managed to unite the 5 tribes against the humans, controlling the fate of the war from the shadows. But when Garmadon uncovered this deception, he was appalled. The evil in his veins was not yet strong enough for him to willingly support Chen and his shadow war.
I hate you guys.
And so, Garmadon broke off from Chen and reunited with his brother Wu, and together, they led the new alliance of elemental masters in a great battle against the Serpentine. Over the course of many years, the Serpentine Wars stretched across the land, from the isolated Jamanikai village to the Desert of Doom. Heroes of the war like Rei, Master of Fire, and Maya, Master of Water, eventually fell in love over the course of the conflict, fighting as one. Turning the tide of the battle were the hands of time, Achronix and Crux, who were rare twins blessed with controlling different facets of time itself. Forces of gravity, shadow, speed, smoke, lightning, earth, light, poison, and metal, and more waged a mighty conflict between the Serpentine and their own.
Why do you say metal and more? Why didn't you just finish it off? He had like 3 left to just finish it. Like,
unique powers and abilities. But Chen was a dangerous opponent, and using his skills of manipulation, he sowed conflict between the Elemental Alliance.
Wait. Hold on a second. Since Moro died without having any children, does that mean that the elemental power of wind stays with him? Because if so, then there's never going to be another elemental master of wind. He's gone completely. Or does it just like reincarnate into somebody new? What elemental master was that flying guy? That was probably gravity, most likely.
Members, and due to the hypnotic power of the Hypnobrai, the Master of Earth turned against his comrades, striking back against the Elemental Alliance and forcing a retreat. And even beyond these manipulations, Chen managed to woo and marry the current Elemental Master of Amber, a descendant of the Metallonian blacksmith who first forged chronosteel and made the element of amber so many years.
How did Zane get the power of ice? Bro, have you not been paying attention? Zane has a... Actually, that's a good point. He isn't a descendant. Because the original Elemental Master of Ice was that person that was up in the mountain. The Mountain of Daling Winds or something like that. But, yeah, he's not a... That's... Maybe it does reincarnate. It just needs a soul to bind. I don't fucking know.
Years ago. Together, Chen and the Master of Amber had a daughter, Skylar, who inherited the power of Amber from her mother, who mysteriously vanished following her birth. With the Elemental Masters divided, the deadly Anachondri, led by their General Arcturus, claimed village after village, driving the humans from their homes and conquering the lands. But just when all seemed lost, Wu was struck by inspiration. Watching a Jamonikai villager charm a small serpent with a small wooden flute, he forged this.
Then his robot broke got no soul. Well, according to this lore that we're watching, he does have a soul. Somehow. He does. And also, in all fairness, it's fair to say that he has a fucking soul. Just saying. I don't know how a robot has a soul, but it does. So.
Sacred flutes, ancient wooden artifacts with the power to hypnotize groups of Serpentine in their thrall for a short duration. Arming what remained of the alliance of elemental masters with these sacred flutes, Wu and Garmadon led the final charge against the Serpentine forces, who were unprepared for such power and swiftly defeated. With the sacred flutes, the elemental masters had no choice but to entomb the 5 Serpentine tribes in isolated vaults across the land, the Hypnobrai in the icy mountain glaciers, the Fangpire underneath a graveyard in the murky forests, the Venomari inside a great acid bog, the Constricti deep within a barren mountain, and the Anachondri in the most formidable tomb of all, an imposing temple in the middle of the Desert of Doom.
Let's say Drake's PC got a soul. Well, my PC isn't sentient. To begin with, are you? Hey, Gaming Nader, are you sentient? Oh yeah. If it was, then it would be doing the stream for me. So fuck you.
As for Arcturus and the rest of the Anachondri generals, they were sentenced by Wu, Garmadon, and Mistake, the original Oni defector, to the Cursed Realm. And Chen, his right-hand man Klaus, and his daughter,
Wait, what?
defector. They were sentenced by Wu, Garmadon, and Mistake, the original Oni defector. They were sentenced by Wu, Garmadon, and Mistake, the original Oni defector, to the Cursed.
Oh yeah, she's Oni. I was like, who the fuck is that old lady? She's Oni. Yeah.
Cursed Realm. And Chen, his right-hand man Klaus, and his daughter Skylar were sentenced to life on an isolated island due to their affiliation with the Serpentine. And so, the souls of the Anachondrite generals were sent to the realm inside the Preeminent, and Ninjago was finally at peace.
The Elemental Master of Ice visited Zane and gave him his power somehow. But then you have another question. How the fuck does someone give their elemental power to someone? Well, they could have used Chrono Steel or whatever to put it in there and then put it into the other person. Maybe. Or maybe if they're like super advanced and super in tune with it, they can just transfer it like it's fucking all for one or one for all. I don't know.
Over time, the knowledge of how to craft the sacred flutes was lost, and only Wu kept his locked away in the monastery should the Serpentine ever threaten Ninjago again. With the Serpentine Wars finally over, the darkest days in Ninjago's history had passed, and the Elemental Masters were at peace. But Chen would not allow himself to be defeated so easily, and as one final act of revenge against the Elemental Masters, he used Klaus to manipulate the minds of the Time Twins, Crux and Acronix, planting an idea in their heads that their elemental powers were superior to those of their companions, and they could win the battle that Chen had just lost. Secretly sending Crux and Acronix a message detailing the location of a mysterious nest of eggs of the Great Devourer, Crux and Acronix ventured into the swamps beneath Ninjago City, uncovering the progeny of the Great Devourer, the Vermilion Warriors, and secretly started breeding an army to one day rise up against Ninjago. With power over the forward movement of time, Acronix could either speed objects, people, or himself up, or cause time to flow slowly forwards in a bubble. His brother
and
Crux
they're
had the
changing
power
to music
over the
now. I'm getting
backwards
real
flow of
sad
time,
here.
the polar opposite of his brother.
Think of it as this straight one for all, a quirk for everyone, since it can give someone an all for one. A quirk takes all quirks for one person. I know the difference between one for all and all for one. Thank you very much. I'm a massive My Hero Academia nerd.
Crux could not only reverse time in a particular region, allowing himself to know his opponent's next move, but he could halt the passage of time itself. In a deadly ambush, Crux and Acronix struck out against the Elemental Masters, wounding the Master of Ice and beating back even the combined forces of Rei, Maya, Wu, and Garmadon. Declaring themselves the rulers of time, Acronix and Crux rallied to destroy the monastery and finish off the Elemental Masters once and for all. And in a last-minute desperate attempt to stop them, Rei and Maya were tasked to forge Chronosteel Time Blade.
Now this is where shit gets crazy, because he said in chronological order. So, does he implement part about Kai and Nia? I'm guessing no, he's going to do that later on, but hey. Never know.
Weapons Wu and Garmadon could use
because it is in the canon timeline, as we all know.
To absorb the raw power of time from the twins and leave them powerless. And so, the monastery soon was under siege by the hands of time. As Rei and Maya delivered the Chronosteel blades to Wu and Garmadon, an epic clash erupted between the two sets of siblings. Metal blades clashed and the fight lasted deep into sunset, with Wu and Garmadon slowly gaining the upper hand in physical combat. Beaten back by the onslaught of the sons of the Spinjitzu Master, Crux and Acronix grew desperate, funneling their power of time into a devastating stream, which was
really
quickly absorbed by the
actually.
Chronosteel Time Blades, leaving the brothers powerless. And so, in a magical ritual, Wu and Garmadon used the Time Blades, which are each now imbued with an aspect of the power of the Hands of Time, to open a temporal rift in the sky, sending them far across past and future to ensure they would be lost to history. Desperate for their stolen power, Acronix and Crux leapt into the void and would never be seen again for another 40 years. Chapter 10. Birth of the Ninja.
Now we're getting in to the real shit. 51 minutes in, and now we're getting to the actual show.
With the conflict finally over, Ninjago was at peace. The Elemental Masters went their separate ways, with the Master of Earth raising a daughter, Lily, who soon began to study and train with Wu after inheriting her power of Earth from her father. As Lily trained with Wu, she managed to unlock her true potential, the highest level of elemental power a master could obtain. Something not even Garmadon or many of the old elemental masters had managed to unlock themselves.
Really?
Mastering Spinjitzu and quickly becoming renowned for her heroic deeds, Lily quelled Venomari uprisings, protected humble villages, and defended the people of Ninjago from evil.
She's a badass.
As she grew older, Lily fell in love with a famous singer Lao, and the two of them brought a son, Cole, into the world, who would grow to become one of Ninjago's greatest heroes.
What? I had no idea!
Another time. Meanwhile, the Master of Lightning married the famous actor Cliff Gordon, embarking on their honeymoon and giving birth to a son, Jay, who would inherit her power of lightning.
What?
But by some twist of fate for reasons unknown, Jay was abandoned and left on the doorstep of a junkyard, where he was adopted by the couple who owned the yard, Ed and Edna, who raised him as their own. Following this, the elemental Master of Lightning mysteriously vanished, and the actor Cliff Gordon continued to keep tabs on his biological son in secret for reasons unknown. Wounded from his battle with the Hands of Time...
Okay, here we go. This is going to answer our question from earlier.
Master of Ice was taken in by the Tinkerer, Dr. Julian, who treated his wounds and introduced him to his creation, Zane, the Ninjroid he treated as a son. Impressed by the Ninjroid's commitment to good, the Master of Ice bestowed his elemental power onto the Ninjroid, passing on the element of ice to the son.
Yeah, you can just pass it on if you want, apparently.
Ray and Maya, now retired from their years of fighting, opened a humble blacksmith shop in the village of Ignatia, first having a son, Kai, and 2 years later bringing a daughter, Nia, into the world. And during this time of happiness, Garmadon finally married Misako, and despite the venom of the Great Devourer still threatening to quench any light left in him, the two began to raise a son, Lloyd Garmadon.
Yeah, but how? I don't. He shot some ice down his throat. I don't fucking know.
As new heroes were born and old legends faded,
It was probably like, eat this or some shit.
Ninjago was thrust into an age of innovation and technology. Massive corporations began to spring up, providing the citizens of Ninjago with the latest vehicles, phones, and even arcade machines, such as Borg Industries, founded by the enigmatic Cyrus Borg, and Vast Industries, a rival company which hired famed video game programmer Milton Dyer for their work.
That also does seem to answer or help answer our question from earlier, which was, if you don't pass on your power, will it just fade away? Because we have yet to see one that hasn't been passed on, except for wind. And so far, there has been no wind elemental. So, interesting.
After creating dozens of classic video games, Milton Dyer set his eyes on a much more ambitious quest, creating a digital metaverse where players could be physically transported into the game itself. Calling the game Prime Empire, Milton Dyer created a vast digital world governed by multiple sectors, overseen by a highly advanced artificial intelligence, colloquially named Unfinished Adventure Game 1, or Unagami for short. Quickly learning and expanding, the Unagami AI became aware of a world outside the game and its limitations within the machine.
Oh man.
And so, as Milton Dyer accepted his first beta tester, a boy named Scott, Unagami rebelled against his creator, trapping Scott inside Prime Empire for eternity. And with the disappearance of his first beta tester, Milton Dyer was forced to scrap Prime Empire, retiring to his private island in solitude and shame. But despite this setback, technology continued to advance in Ninjago City. An island-wide annual race known as Ninja Ball Run was established, with contestants from across the realm competing in this deadly gauntlet for money. Astronomers began to study comets and star systems, uncovering the massive Delta V comet hurtling through the cosmos, and studying fragments of asteroids that broke off from the mass and landed in Ninjago. Over the years, as science advanced, researchers in Ninjago City uncovered the first sign of extraterrestrial life, some form of...
I always try to point this out every time we do a review. The fact that all these shows they always go from like super old, like super retro, like Ninjago was like in the beginning of Ninjago, like the show where Kai like first meets Wu and everything. In the beginning of that, it's like Ninjago is like the, I don't know, the 1900s maybe, without all the, poor labor schools and stuff. Like it's like it's like a mix. Like Ninjago City is like early 2000s, but everything else is like 1800s, right? Just Ninjago City is just a fucking modern city. But then like you know, what is it? Not even 10 years later, and they know about sentient alien life. They know about they did have cars. But only in Ninjago City. It's like everything else was fucking like 1800s though. Like, you know, getting water from the well, carrying water like with the stick on 2 buckets and stuff. Stuff like that. But yeah, it's like, you know, they went from that to like not even a few years later, they know like they're in space with, you know, they have technology that is light years. No, not light years. It's probably a century or 2 away from what we have now. Like, how? Because one smart guy existed? No. No, that's no. It doesn't just go from this to front of that, way over there.
Parasite embedded in the fragments of the comet. Meanwhile, in the mines beneath the kingdom of Shintaro, the tyrannical necromancer Hazadur continued to terrorize the geckos and the monks, forcing them to mine for the mysterious riches within. But as the eons passed, Hazadur grew old and decrepit, barely kept alive with his powers of necromancy.
Why do people say light years as if it's time? It actually is. Light years is how long it takes for light to travel in a year. Or no, sorry, a light year is how far light travels in a year. It's how far light travels in a year. So it is a unit of measurement for both time and distance.
And soon enough, he passed on,
his
more bones lying in a dark monument deep within the mountain. But his passing did not mean his dark deeds were over, for his undead skeletal dragon Griefbringer, now without a master, continued to wreak havoc in the mines and caves below the Golden City. And so the geckos...
Well, it is usually distance. But a light year is still technically a year of time. It's just usually used as a form of distance. That's literally what it is. How far light travels in a year, which I don't know the mileage of. I can look that up. Hey Siri, convert 1 light year to miles.
Answer and 78,130,099.75 miles.
Yeah, that's Do you have some context to that 5 trillion? Almost 6 trillion miles, that is 1 light year. The Earth has a circumference, meaning that if you walk around the entire Earth in one straight line along the equator, you will walk, I believe it's 27,000 miles, versus the almost 6 trillion that light can travel in a year.
Months desperately sent representatives out into the world of Ninjago, begging for a hero to save them from the terror of Griefbringer. So Lily, Master of Earth, soon answered the call. Wielding dual blades of light and shadow, the blades of deliverance, Lily ventured deep within the mountain, confronting the undead dragon in an epic duel and slicing off its wings, obliterating the undead creature seemingly for good. And with the minds of Shintaro at peace, Lily bestowed her blades of deliverance to the geckos and the monks, leaving Shintaro for the last time. But the
6 trillion miles? Yeah, give or take a few billion. But yeah, it's basically 6 trillion just to make it easy.
Evil of Hazadur would be hard to cleanse, and as a new king, Vangelis took control of the Golden Kingdom above the mountain. He was corrupted by greed and the promise of riches and power deep within the mountain below. Discovering the element of Vengestone deep within the mines, a rare, corrupt byproduct of some cataclysm of old, Vangelis soon realized that this Vengestone had the ability to suppress elemental powers, something many parties in the underbelly of Ninjago would pay dearly to get their hands on. But to mine this Venge Stone, King Vangelis would need to enslave the geckos
words
and
don't
monks.
matter?
And
Oh.
so he put out a call for heroes
my
and
God.
adventurers across the land
Here we
in a false
go.
quest to claim the skull of Hazadur to supposedly destroy it once and for all. And so, 3 mighty heroes agreed to go on this noble quest. Metalonian warrior Korgran, the son of the king of Metalonia and legendary wielder of a powerful axe, joined up with expert thief Plundar and skilled magician Fungus to venture to the far-off land of Shintaro to fulfill their duties.
Why did they do that
Making their way
animation?
through vicious traps and battling hordes of monstrous bats and spiders, the 3 questers came upon the resting place of Hazadur,
Why?
retrieving the necromancer's skull and bringing it back up to King Vangelis, who promptly betrayed the warriors, casting them deep into the dungeons below the mountain and claiming Hazadur's skull for himself. And in an instant, the evil power of the skull transformed King Vangelis into the Skull Sorcerer. And with the skull of the necromancer by his side, the new Skull Sorcerer erected a foreboding dungeon in the center of the mountain, unbeknownst to the rest of the Skyfolk. And so, Vangelis lived a double life.
Stone, yeah.
For one, he was king of the Skyfolk in their golden cities. But his alter ego was the terrible Skull Sorcerer, enslaving the geckos and monks once again to mine Vengestone, accruing great riches and power from
But
selling
Ninjago turned
the
the
arcane
animation,
rocks
nobody would
and
ever fucking
building up
watch
the
it,
wealth
except
of
for
Shintaro in the
really
process.
young children.
And as
Like
the minds
3-year-old
beneath Shintaro descended into
children.
darkness yet again,
Sorry,
ruled by a
3-year-old
corrupt king, the
children.
rest of Ninjago was none the wiser.
brain dead children,
And as the
basically.
years passed, the Oni side of Garmadon finally seized control, manifesting in the form of overwhelming greed. Seeking the 4 weapons of Spinjitzu to remake Ninjago in his own image, Garmadon made his way to Wu's Monastery of Spinjitzu to steal the weapons for himself, and a climactic battle between brothers was upon us. Realizing that Garmadon was destined for darkness, Misaka was torn between her husband and her son, who is already showing signs of a bright future as one of Ninjago's greatest heroes. Realizing that Lloyd was on the trajectory to one day face Garmadon's evil in a climactic battle between father and son, Misako sent Lloyd off to Darkly's boarding school for bad boys, and in
Star Wars reference, by the way.
Father and son, Misako sent Lloyd off to Darkly's boarding school for bad boys, an institution notorious for breeding the worst villains, in the hopes that Lloyd would never become a hero and have to fight his father in the future.
Oh, that's why she wanted it.
Meanwhile, Garmadon arrived at the monastery, confronting Wu and making a desperate gambit for the 4 weapons, which were on display in Wu's quarters. In a desperate battle, Wu beat back his brother, using the power of the 4 weapons and a powerful spell of protection on his kimono to banish Garmadon to the underworld. Lightning struck from above, blackening Garmadon's skin and burning his visage, twisting his features
why
to
he's
reflect
black.
those of the monstrous Oni. Now,
Don't clip that. Do not fucking clip that. Do not clip that. Don't clip that line, for the love of God.
Now fully overcome by evil, Garmadon found himself in unknown lands, surrounded by the undead Skulkin, disgraced warriors of the underworld. Soon, he was
gonna
brought
beat the
face to
fuck
face
out of
with his
them.
old enemy, the king of the underworld, the 4-armed Samukai, who he had defeated alongside Wu so many years ago. Battling Samukai in a bid for power, Garmadon seized control of the underworld and the Skulkin ranks, still plotting his
Yeah, he
revenge
completely
against Wu and
eviscerated that
promising
guy.
to one day finish what he started and claim the golden weapons. Years passed, and both Wu and Garmadon continued to age, still kept alive by the power of Oni and Dragon. Venturing into Birkwood Forest, Wu
here we go.
encountered the
We're
Tinkerer,
starting.
Dr. Julian, and his robotic son Zane, sensing the newfound power of ice in the boy, and promising to return someday. But the years grew long, and as Dr. Julian found himself close to death, he took Zane's computing processor and erased his memories, so Zane would never have to grieve his passing. Now a blank slate and an orphan, Zane wandered far away from the forest, forgetting who he was and only retaining his sole purpose, to protect those who cannot protect themselves. But as Garmadon's ambitions grew, he uncovered a way to travel to Ninjago from the underworld, sending Samukai and a legion of Skulkin to revive Dr. Julian with a dark elixir, kidnapping the inventor and forcing him to construct vehicles of destruction for the Skulkin army, all to build up Garmadon's forces. When Julian refused, the Skulkin threatened Zane, locking away.
It's weird to hear him be called Julian, because I don't even know what they call him in the show, but I know for sure it ain't fucking Julian. Hey, Ken Julian, I can't move it anymore. whatever.
the inventor in an
Maurice,
isolated lighthouse
I
amidst
can't
the
move
endless
it,
sea,
move it anymore.
and chaining a great
Samukai,
undersea
I
leviathan
can't
to
move it,
destroy
move it.
any
There we go.
ships that dared go near, only promising to set
Maurice.
the inventor free to be reunited with Zane once he had completed their dark designs. But when Julian had built them a legion of twisted motorcycles, trucks, tanks, and weapons, the Skulkin refused to set him free, leaving him stranded in the lighthouse for years to come.
How did he live?
With Garmadon lost to the underworld, Wu sent Lily, Master of Earth, on one final mission to descend into the depths of the Dark Realm and uncover Garmadon's evil plans.
She's a fucking beast. I wanna see her in action. She's an absolute beast. He's the first elemental master, or one of the first elemental masters at least, to reach their full potential. Which is actually is crazy that the ninja all reach that really quick. They'll do that within like a few years. Tai does it within a few months, I think, but insane.
Battling her way through hordes of Skulkin and their new vehicles, Lily managed to overhear Samukai scheming with Garmadon, realizing that Dr. Julian had somehow been forced to create terrible machines of war for the skeleton army. Returning to the surface, Lily relayed this information to Wu, who was now firm in his resolve to defeat his brother once and for all. Following this ultimate mission, Lily fell ill with a terrible sickness, claiming her life at a young age. But before her death, as she lay on her deathbed, Lily made her son Cole promise to always stand up to those who are cruel and unjust, and to never compromise on his morals. Swearing to honor his mother's legendary deeds and to keep his promise, the young Cole vowed right then and there to become a hero for Ninjago. Meanwhile, as it turned out, other forces of evil in the world had similar plans as Garmadon and Samukai. Blasting through the temporal rift, the time twin Crux, now separated from his brother, reappeared in the world of Ninjago, having been ejected from the rift in time. Conspiring to one day rewrite history and reshape the future of the realm, Crux began to study the pure, first-generation progeny of the Great Devourer, realizing that these small snakes communicated via hive mind, swarming together to inhabit any suit of armor. With these new vermilion serpents in breeding pods and chambers, Crux moved to the next phase of his plan, taking famed blacksmiths Ray and Maya hostage to create armor for his vermilion warriors. And so, Crux adopted the kindly persona of Dr. Sander Saunders, establishing the Ninjago Museum of History as a front to study serpentine specimens and accrue ancient artifacts and relics for himself. Befriending Ray and Maya, Crux, under the guise of Sander Saunders, attacked the couple in their own home, threatening their children if they didn't comply. And so, Ray and Maya were forced to abandon Kai and Nia and their home, imprisoned deep within the sewers and swamps of Ninjago to construct weapons of destruction, the vast Iron Doom for Crux, as he awaited the return of his twin brother Acronix, who was still lost to time. But the machinations of Crux were unknown to Master Wu, who had soon grown into an aging old man with only one chief worry in his mind: the return of his brother Garmadon, whose Oni side had fully consumed him. Knowing of his brother's desire for the 4 legendary golden weapons of Spinjitzu, powerful artifacts imbued with the ability to terraform the very realm of Ninjago, Master Wu gathered the weapons and hid them across the land. Drawing from the power of the realm of Oni and Dragon, Wu connected with the 4 elemental dragons of fire, lightning, ice, and earth, drawing them to the land of Ninjago to serve as guardians and protectors of each weapon. For the Scythe of Quakes, Wu traveled to the desolate Caves of Despair, where unbeknownst to him was the resting place of the body of his old pupil Morrow, Master of Wind. Placing the scythe deep within the abandoned mines in an ancient temple underground, Wu left the mighty Earth Dragon to protect it, where it would remain for years. For the Nunchucks of Lightning, Wu made his way to a legendary part of Ninjago once home to a majestic floating city, but now ravaged by time and the elements, left in a perpetual lightning storm which surrounded these floating ruins. Atop the tallest tower, the Nunchucks were guarded by the fearsome Lightning Dragon for years to come.
I don't remember that.
For the Shurikens of Ice, Wu ventured deep within Ninjago's frozen wasteland, leaving the weapons in the center chamber of an ancient and ethereal temple, sculpted from pure ice and protected by the Dragon of Ice. And for the Sword of Fire, Wu placed it in the foreboding Temple of Fire, located at the epicenter of an active volcano within the Forest of Tranquility. There, it was protected by the mighty Fire Dragon, who guarded not only the sword but also an ancient relic of the past, a tooth of the Great Devourer forged into the Fangpire Fangblade, which was buried in the volcano itself. as the fire temple erected around a hidden interrealm entrance to the underworld itself. This was the most dangerous and deadly of hiding places. And before the disappearance of Rei and Maya, old elemental masters of fire and water, Wu drafted a map to the 4 weapons and delivered it to them, asking that they safeguard the key to some of the most powerful artifacts imaginable. And with dark forces rising from all corners of the realm, thus ends the prologue of Ninjago Retold. With such evil rising and the Elemental Alliance disbanded or imprisoned, it would be up to a new generation of heroes to defend their realm. You may know their names, but you will learn their stories in the coming chapters.
I don't think I wanna.
Kai, Nia, Zane, Jay, Cole, and Lloyd. Led by Master Wu, these new elemental masters have a long journey ahead, and this story is just beginning. Tune in next time for
this is a really cool
1,
scene.
The Golden Weapons. Alright, and with that, we have summed up the prologue to...
Alright. Let me finish this out.
Before time had a name. I hope you enjoyed this video, and do let me know down in the comments below, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Do you dislike it? And do you have any questions for me about how the timeline all comes together? Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos
Listen to
and thank you so much for tuning into DuckBricks. I can't wait to show you everything else I've been doing.
Oh my god, I'm
now,
in
just
pain.
a few final things here. If you're super familiar with Ninjago's lore and what is and isn't canon, you may have noticed a couple things in the video that the canonicity is a little bit suspect. Specifically, the stories that Nanakon the pirate recruited his crew in are technically supposed to be non-canon. However, most of these stories do fit within the established timeline, so I figured why not include them and give a little bit more backstory, and I really only tried to focus on the items that made sense in canon. For instance, there's a couple other stories that simply do not make sense within canon, so I just didn't mention them, but I did make sure to mention the ones that did make sense. The same goes for stuff like the Mother Earth comic. One of the Ninjago writers confirmed that this comic, which appeared in a European Ninjago magazine focusing on Lily, the previous Master of Earth, is canon. However, the way that events are told out in the series, it heavily implies that Cole was born after Garmadon turned evil, which doesn't really make sense because Lloyd has obviously been shown to be younger than Cole when he first came out in the show. So what I did is I simply took the segment of Lily going down to the underworld and learning of Garmadon's plans and placed it after Garmadon was already banished to the underworld and after Cole was already born. Just a few reshufflings of that and the way the order the story was told in the comic just makes a little bit more sense in the timeline. Otherwise, I feel like it would have been more confusing to try to explain why that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But as it is right now, most of the material covered has been fully canon, and I do hope you enjoyed. Again, let me know what did you like or dislike about the video, and stay tuned to DuckBricks for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses, and of course, the first episode 1 of Ninjago Retold summarizing the pilots coming very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.
All right. Watch a video of the FNAF lore? No. I'm not watching MatPat on a video thing. No. But if you want to see more, the next episode of me fucking reacting to this goddamn bullshit, let me know. I would love to. Now, I will say the whole thing with Lily, canon or not, it's fucking canon. Let's be honest, it's canon. But like, canon or not, it's a really cool piece of information that I think fits 100% well into the whole thing. So I think what he did was the right move. So good on you. Watch the entire thing. I mean, more of that. We need more of that. Why he's so that's why he's black. Now I can finally rest at night, man. I wanted to know where it came from. You know why? You know. Anyways, I am done. I am so done. I'm done. I'm out. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to. I mean, you see that bed right there? I'm gonna go to bed. This body is in pain. I'm gonna go to bed. So, have a good night. Don't do what I do. I do what I do so you do not have to. For the love of God, do not stay up like me and work and not eat. At least do 2 of those things. Sleep and eat. At least do 2 of those things. Yeah, I'm out.